guys, what's going on? By the way, thank you so much to the reaction to the video from Why I Don't Watch Paranormal TV Shows. I greatly appreciate that, all the comments and so on. Thanks very much. This is going to kind of be sort of another part to this, but it's going to be specifically on the subject of movies, which I have discussed before on this channel, but this is kind of going to go sort of a bit more in depth, I suppose, when it relates to ITC as well. With ITC, instrumental transcommunication, which is, hoping to record the voices of unexplained beings from unexplained origins. We don't know that they're dead people. They say they're dead people, but they could be anything. They could be from anywhere. We don't know who or what they are, but we are getting communication from them. We just don't know who or what they are. And with the paranormal and so on, I spoke about the whole entertainment side of things, especially with paranormal TV shows and so on, and like the way things such as Satanism is portrayed as like animal sacrifice and all that kind of stuff, and like killings, all that kind of stuff, which that's not what Satanism is about at all. Actually, they don't believe in anything like that. But I'm going to sort of list off all these, when it's mostly in the paranormal films, I talk about demons and so on. It's even kind of the same in these paranormal TV shows, not always, but it gives that stereotypical vibe and the stereotypical feel of the paranormal there. It's like demons and so on. That's something you should fear. It's something that you should be scared of and so on. And that's just something you should stay away from, and it's only the pros which do it, which is no such thing, which I said again, no such thing as that. You can have experience, yes you can, but there's no such thing as a pro. And it gives that impression, that, like I said, it's action-packed, jam-packed. It's like a small horror film as well. But in reality, when you actually knuckle down and do this, and what I've learned over the last little while is that sometimes it's not all that interesting. It really isn't all that interesting. Sometimes doing the paranormal is downright boring. It's not all like chairs flying all around the room and like heads spinning around, possessed, crawling up the walls, all that kind of stuff. We have films like Insidious, Paranormal Activity, which come out and so on. Paranormal Activity, I do enjoy those films for the entertainment side of things, because of the jump scares and so on. But you have to watch that to be entertained. You watch it to be scared. That's the point of these films. If it's not scary, if it's not a horror, then it's not going to make money. But at the same time, it does create that view of the paranormal. And when people watch this channel or watch other channels and they see, oh, it's not like it is in the films or anything like that. Why is that? But it's just because this is real. This is real life. It's just turning on a camera, switching scan on a spirit box, and off you go. And that is pretty much it. That's what happens with the real paranormal and the realities of ITC, instrumental transcommunication. That's what happens. So with these films and so on, which like Insidious is a really good example when it deals with demons, all that kind of stuff, and that there's different dimensions, all that kind of stuff, that if you get any negative message, it's a demon. Not true. Even if it's negative, it could be something to do with that. It could just be a regular person who was just an ass in their real life, who just is a miserable bugger. So it could just be stuff like that. Just think of how you would relate it to your real life. But with the whole entertainment side of things, I do know that it's for the entertainment. But like I said, it creates this view of the paranormal that a negative message is a demon and so on, different dimensions and so on. But those are kind of just theories that are based around that. Films take these kind of concepts of the paranormal and they have to flesh them out and they make them bigger than they actually are. But it's not really what happens, and a lot of the stuff which people see in the paranormal films and so on and in these TV shows think that's reality, but it's only when you actually get down to doing this and you realize it's nothing like that. It's just blown out of proportion. Is it great for watching if you want to be entertained, scared and so on? Then by all means, that's cool, but it's just not the realities of the paranormal. Nothing like that actually happens. Maybe it does sometimes, but like possession, you can't really prove possession, as it's kind of, pretty much impossible. And especially when you see sort of films which are based, like The Exorcist, for example, which is supposedly based on a true story. There is elements, but it's kind of, it takes on a whole completely different film on its own. That's for drama. That is the entertainment. The majority is not even true in that. The Amityville Horror House, I don't know if those events are true. I was not there, when those events happened. I was not even born. So, did those killings at the Amityville Horror House happen? Yes, they did happen. Ronald DeFeo killed his family, and he states why he did that as a more kind of a spiritual kind of motive. But at the same time, films have been made, done on that, which kind of represent that in a way. But then there was that film with Ryan Reynolds where it spoke about possession and so on, and when it showed him being possessed. But again, that's not factual. It's for films, it's for entertainment. Oh, and a really good one, actually, while I'm on this subject. Something like this. There has been so many films based around a Ouija board. Like Ouija, for example, and you got The Exorcist as well. When it's just some of you are probably watching this, and probably someone pick this up and go, oh, don't touch that, you're going to become possessed or whatever. I'm not. This is just a piece of wood, another piece of wood with some letters and numbers on it. That's it. You have the exact same thing in textbooks, in maths books. So does that mean those are possessed as well? No. And the warnings and so on, which it has, it's all a load of bollocks. It's all a load of crap. I'm not going to become possessed or anything like that. This is just a piece of wood, which you could buy off eBay. And I doubt all those things are possessed by demons. Like if I drew a Ouija board on a napkin, does that mean that napkin is possessed now? If I drew a Ouija board on a piece of toilet paper and wiped my butt with it, does that mean that my butt's going to be possessed or my toilet will be? It doesn't really make much sense. That's all it is, just a piece of wood. But yet so many films have created such a negative view on these things, but really, I haven't really experienced anything from these. To me, it's just a piece of wood. That's it. And if anything, it's, they give this impression that when you use a Ouija board, that's going to do all this, and then you got to do a circle and so on, then you got to light candles or whatever. I've never done any of that. Nothing's happened. I've never been possessed, nothing like that. And it just creates so many lies about things like this. I want people to get into this. I want people to experience this. If you're skeptical about the paranormal, get on board and try it. Get on board, get yourself a PSP 7, whatever. Get yourself on board and give it a try, You can only learn through trying. So after that, you can only inform your own decision. But I have so many friends, that they ask me questions about all these saying, oh, you use a Ouija board, you have to do a magic circle, you have to say goodbye every time, whatever. Well, I haven't done any of those things, those warnings. But they are written by people that have watched too many horror films, people who've watched all those lies about the Ouija boards, from people who've watched too many of those spooky horror films and take that as a gospel truth when really it's a load of bollocks. Okay, so none of that stuff is true. And that's not going to become possessed. And another thing as well when it comes to Ouija boards. This is a Ouija board. This is a PSP 7. I've asked people, why don't you use Ouija boards? And the answers that they give is that they relate back to films and what they've seen on TV and campfire stories. That's all it is, campfire stories. But yeah, when I tell them about this, they get interested. But I'm like, okay, so you would much rather have, I don't know, maybe you could. Sometimes it happens, but it depends. You get what you get. But you would rather have a full-on conversation, hearing the voice of a spirit, but you won't use a piece of wood with some letters and numbers on it. That makes bugger all sense. And the way that the paranormal field's going, especially, with these YouTubers that used to be legit, these paranormal investigators that used to be all legit, and now the money's gone up, their ego's been inflated, and now they want to be entertainers. And if they state it's entertainment, I suppose it's okay, but it's just, with all the lies that are being pumped out by other ITC researchers who used to start off legit and are now just full of crap because the money and the ego and the fame and the views get to them, and it creates this view on the paranormal which is just not true. But movies especially, give that impression where, you see a horror film or whatever, and you think, what's the possibility that it could happen to you? It's based in some kind of reality. Like take a stalker film, for example, or like a killer film like that, a slasher. And you think, okay, it's not out of the realms of possibility, it's something that could happen. But at the same time with the paranormal, you can only really experience the paranormal when you actually do it. Doesn't mean anything is going to happen every single time. With the paranormal, most of the time, nothing actually happens. Everything that you see in films is just based in fiction. 99% of it's based in fiction. The 1%, however, is what you see on this channel, just what happens here. I've done this for 2 years, about 2.5 years. Everything that I've seen in films, everything I used to be scared of, has never happened to me. And the paranormal is vastly different. The real paranormal, the ITC field, is vastly different. And movies are movies, you know, it's for entertainment, except it's for entertainment. And it's gonna suspend your disbelief, as that's what they're meant to do, you know. Horror movies are horror movies because they're meant to be scary. And you take films such as, what was it called? Not Insidious, the other one. The Conjuring, I think it is. You know, when it depicts characters, even characters such as Ed and Lorraine Warren, who, yeah, it wasn't too far away from who they really were as people. It wasn't too far off, but it's exaggerated quite a lot. You know, that's what movies are. They have to be exaggerated, otherwise they're not going to be spectacular. People aren't going to watch it. People aren't going to invest in the next sequel, whatever. But that's just the thing with films. Are films hurting like the paranormal? Well, sort of. But it creates a false image of the paranormal. And then when you come to this channel and you go, oh, it's nothing like it is. Why is that? But then that's just why you got to ask yourself these questions, you know. If you want to know if any of this is factual, if anything that you've seen in films, TV shows, whatever is real, get into this and do it yourself. Do it yourself, have an open mind, but also be skeptical. Try and debunk stuff if you can. Exhaust everything you can. Try and debunk everything, as you'll find that the paranormal is vastly different. I used to think it was just like it is on the TV shows. I used to think like what it was in films was how it was. And then when these 2 years later, I've realised pretty much the majority has never happened. The only thing that has happened is that I've had so many responses over the sessions I've done, hundreds and hundreds of them, and we get communication from something which has unexplained origins and we don't know who or what they are. But that's the only certainty. So that's kind of this little talk on, you know, entertainment and films and the Paranormal ITC. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you can give me some comments and some feedback down below. I look forward to reading them and getting back to you guys. But in the meantime, have a good day, night, whatever time you're watching this. If you're on the bog watching this, as I know some of you are, I'll see you guys in the very next video. So take care.